Welcome to Con Corner. I'm Tina, and it took me forever, but I'm finally there. Today I'm going to make a clone of Campbell's tomato soup, but this is an instant mix. It tastes almost identical to Campbell's canned tomato soup. The first time that I made it, I mixed it up, and we always eat our tomato soup creamed. I dilute it with milk instead of water. Anyway, and we were having grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup that night. So I mixed this up and I took it into Paul, and he ate it all without ever noticing that there was a difference. But the difference with this is that this is very simple. It has only 5 ingredients, and you can of course easily make it organic and accommodate your dietary needs. I normally use my own tomato powder from my own tomatoes, but I've run out of it. My products that use it have been very successful, and so I ran out of it. So to hold me over until I start getting my crop in, I bought plain tomato powder, and I bought this on Amazon. This is Harmony House, but there are some other brands. But this is just, it's pure. There's no additives, there's no preservatives, it's non-GMO. There's nothing else in it. It's just plain dehydrated tomatoes. To make your own, dry them in your dehydrator until they are completely crispy. They'll crack when you break them, and then run them in your blender and turn them into powder. I don't bother seeding mine or peeling them. If I'm going to make powder out of them, I leave the seeds in them, and I leave the peels on them. I just slice them super thin and put them on there. It works great, and it's been a good help to us. Use instant non-fat dry milk, brown sugar, and I use only cane sugar. I don't use beet sugar. Dark brown or light brown doesn't matter, and then plain flour. All right, I'm going to mix up a batch, and salt. I'm going to mix up a batch of several packets of it right now, because I sell this at the farmer's market, and we're allowed to sell dry mixes. So I've sold out of it, and so now I'm going to make up a batch to sell. So this amount should make it should make enough for 4 packages, and each package will make a pretty good size serving. But I put 3 3/4 ounces in the servings, and so let me get my label out, and I'll show you what I do there. Okay. I'll put this into the comments. I'll put the recipe, but I'll also put my directions in the comments. All you do with the mix is you heat water and milk to simmering, not to boiling, but to simmering, and then you whisk the soup mix into that simmering water, and you cook it for 2 minutes, stirring constantly. Remove it from the heat and let it stand for 3 minutes, and then stir it and serve it. So let me get it going here, and all right, I'm going to start with my flour. I'm going to use 1 cup of flour, and this is not self-rising flour. You don't want self-rising. You want just plain all-purpose flour. Three-quarters cup of powdered milk. I'm having to wear gloves in all my cooking, because I have it's nearly healed, but I have a hurt on my finger. Those mandolins are dangerous. I'm usually very careful with it, but this one, okay, 3/4 cup. Let's take care of that flour before we do any more. All right, Dead fly, new clean gloves. Crazy things that come out of nowhere when you don't want them around. All right. Where was I at? 3/4 of a cup of powdered milk. I like these interior packets. It helps keep it fresher longer. This is probably the only thing I use this for. I always have some in my food storage, but it's not a product that I use. All right, so there's a 1/2 cup. Oops. Okay. And there's a 1/4 cup. Okay. All right. Now, and this is for the soup itself. If you want creamy tomato soup, you'll still need to add milk, or if you're making it from food storage, powdered milk. All right. Now I need 2/3 cup of, 2 and 2/3 cups of tomato powder. The only thing about making your tomato powder at home is you need to keep it in small. I put mine into small jars, and then I use my food saver to seal those jars, and because it will draw moisture real rapidly, so you have to be real sure that you keep it in an airtight container that won't let moisture in, because otherwise you'll have this rock hard lump of tomato powder, which is not good. It was real interesting when I was making it last year, because each batch would have a slightly different color depending on, the varieties of the tomatoes that I was using. And 2 2/3 cups. Where's my 3rd cup? Okay, there we go. But then of course you mix it, and some were more ripe than others, so it'd be much darker and richer looking. And okay, there we go. Used a lot of that, didn't it? All right. This is why it's so good to use my own tomatoes, because it saves so much expense. That's a lot of. All right, now I need 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And usually when you're using brown sugar, they say to pack it. We don't want to pack this. All we want to do is just scoop it into the cup, not to pack it. So it's loosely into the cup, because you don't want it to be. There's a point at which it's too sweet, and we want it to taste exactly like Campbell's does. So that's the way we do it. All right, so 3/4 cup. So get it kind of. There's one. There's 2. Okay, there's 3/4 of a cup brown sugar. I'm going to have to seal that up before I put it back so it won't get hard. And I need 4 teaspoons of salt. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not. But remember, by the time we add water to this, it's going to be, it's going to be a large amount. So this is spread out over the, this 4 teaspoons is spread out over all the mixes. So. Okay. There we go. Now then, now I'm just going to mix this up. And what I do, the way I put mine together and package it to sell it, is I use my my food saver. I bought a large amount of bags on Amazon. For food saver, you need the can't remember what they're called, textured, I think it is, bags. Well, I found, generic ones on there and ordered a large amount, a big case full of them. So I have plenty of food saver bags now that last me for many years. And it got me a really good price for them. Now at that point, I think they only cost me like 2 cents a piece or something, ridiculously low expense. Even if they were nickel a piece, it's still so much cheaper than retail for those. So by sealing it up in that, I can be sure that this is not going to get all clumpy for the customer if they want to put it in with their camping gear and take it with them camping. That's what I thought a lot of people might do with it. But it's interesting. It's been a real popular seller for me, so I'm really happy with that. This is the only soup that I'm offering during the summer. We're in Texas. We're not going to be eating soups, until winter time. And even then, it's not cold enough very often. But there's just not interest in soups, so I don't want to. I'm not bothering to take those and offer them at the market. Now, if I go to events in the wintertime, I may mix up some soup products to sell. But I'll deal with those another time. You can. Alright, I'll be right back and I'll show you how I package these up. Okay. Yeah, now these are my bags that I bought. The size I chose are 8 by 12. That's a good all-purpose size. It's big enough for nearly everything that I use. At the same time, for smaller ones like these, I've cut them down, and I just use the little cutting apparatus on my food saver. The part that I cut off, I save, and what I will do is I will lay it in there and I will seal along both these edges, and then I'll cut this side open, and then I'll have a little thin, slender seal bag that I can use you can use it for herbs, you can use it for a single avocado half. You take the air out of that and they won't turn brown on you. So you can do lots of things like that with it. Now then, I want 3 3/4 ounces per package, so I'm going to lay one on my scale when there we go. Now I don't have the weight of that is not included. So now I'm going to use my scoop here. And 3/4 ounces. Okay, there's 3 3/4 ounces. Hit that one on the head. It's 3 3/4 ounces. Hot diggity. I love it when a plan comes together. Very good. I must have done enough of these that I'm getting getting a hand, you know, kind of a sense for how much it takes. Now you know there's a little bit of moisture in your brown sugar, and so that's going to clump up that that tomato powder if you don't get them vacuum sealed pretty quick. So I don't make this up until at a point where I'm going to be able to immediately seal it into my bags. There we go. If you put it into regular baggies, if you don't use a vacuum sealer, you're going to need something to absorb the moisture. Since those things are not going to be completely moisture tight, you could use, you know, I hate to use those little do not eat packets and something that's, you know, we're trying to make it homemade, and that's the whole point of cottage foods. And so what I'm thinking is maybe make up some little packets of rice, and don't just drop grains of rice down in it, but you know, make up a little packet of dry rice in a piece of fabric or a coffee filter or something, and attach it together and put that down in there with you know, with it to keep it dry if you're going to just sell them in a baggie. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll come back and show you when I get them sealed up how they look. All right, I'm back. I got 6 packages of soup. And this will make 2 nice servings. You know, for you can serve 2 people real easily out of these packages. All I do, you know, this is just the package after I've sealed it, and then on the shiny side, you don't want to do it on the rough side. On the shiny side, I just tape my label on there. I use my packing tape to tape the label on because Scotch tape doesn't stick very well. Having to buy my tomato powder has increased my cost a huge amount on this. I have been selling these for $3 a package, but now with this store-bought tomato powder, my cost per package is $3.10, so I can't sell them for $3 anymore. I'm going to have to go up to $5. That's a lot, and it will remain to be seen whether customers that are buying it now will pay that excessive price for, you know, that much of an increase for it or not. We'll see. If not, we'll eat it ourselves, and for our own use, it still remains a good product, especially if we're making it with our own homemade tomato powder. In the comment, I'll put the recipe for the full amount, you know, to make the multiple packets. And I'll also put a smaller recipe so you can just make a single batch. You know, just make it as you need it, because that's the other nice thing to do if you're working for your own family, is just to mix it up as you need it. And that way you're not wasting any of your products by mixing them up too far in advance. So I'll put that recipe in the bottom there. I hope that y'all will find this helpful, and I hope you'll try this recipe, and I hope will find it enjoyable. All right, I appreciate y'all so much. If you like it, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Thank you.